to the Dailies on Echo Television International, where we keep you updated with what is happening from our Nigerian newspaper. We are aware that the presidential tribunal started yesterday, and also we have seen that opposition and group have kicked against as APC have actually, zoned the 10th House Assembly, looking at who is the speaker and also who is the Senate. We have a Pabio, which was being anointed as the Senate presidency, and then we have a bus from the Northwest also for the speaker. These and many other stories are what we'll be looking at on the paper, so we would advise you to please stick to your seats as we take you down through what's happening on the papers this morning. I have Rachel Tanzi with me in the studio. Morning, Rachel.
Morning, Sarah.
How you doing?
I'm fine. How about you?
I'm great. Thank you so much. And I'm Sarah Elisha Dasham. We're live on Facebook and on YouTube. You can do well to drop your comment or contribution on any story that is of interest to you this morning. And let's go through the paper, and I will be starting with the Daily Sun newspaper. Opposition parties group kick as APC zones the National Assembly positions, with the rider reject zoning of Senate President to the South-South Apabio's adoption, and then Northwest to produce the Deputy Senate President, Speaker, Southeast, and Deputy Speaker. You can find all of that on page 8. And we have Presidential Tribunal begins sitting one party against delay tactics and technicalities. The rider adjourned OB and APP's petition to May 10, which is tomorrow. Atiku PDP seek live broadcast of court proceedings. Protesters ask tribunal to stop president-elect's inauguration. You can find all of that story on page 6. And on Remembrance Day, IPOB declares sit at home May 30th. You can find that story on page 27. And we have Senate President Ikalu writes APC National Working Committee and senators elect. Anxiety in Ocean, the Supreme Court delivers judgment today, which you can find on page 26. Court void Obaseki suspension of trade unions activities in Edo tertiary institutions. ECOWAS applauds Buhari's effort on regional integration security. You can find on page 4. Bandits attack church abduct 40 worshippers in Kaduna. You can find that story on page 4. Fire incident will not affect our operation, coming from the EFCC, which you can find on page 4. And we have a cross-section of various stories. The first we can see is that of the Minister of Power, Abubakar Aliyu, and also with the Vice President and other stakeholders during the Transcorp Power in Abuja yesterday. We also have that of the Council of the President-elect and also the PDP candidate, and also that of the Labour Party. We can also see Peter Obi there exchanging pleasantries at the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal in Abuja yesterday. And that's all the Daily Sun newspaper.
On leadership, Tinubu may travel out as Northern youth seek probe of Buhari's aid. Bandits abduct 40 worshippers in Kaduna. You can find the details on page 10. NMA offers 1,150 persons free medical care in Taraba. Nigerians to pay 8.4 trillion naira for fuel in 6 months. You can find more details on page 2. Nigeria spends $3.3 billion on auto parts annually. Still on presidential poll, we shall ensure justice. This is coming from the tribunal, and we are looking forward to that. The big story on leadership newspaper, 10th National Leadership, zoning formula unsettles APC. Aspirants battle ready. The rider following that was Dogua Jaji rejects Abbas as Speaker, ministerial offers. Bajabia Mila faces impeachment over doctored rules. Southeast senators kick as APC unveils Apabio for Senate President. You can find the details on page 4. 2 to die by hanging for conspiracy, robbery in Delta. Supreme Court decides Adeleke Ayatollah's fate today. I had frank discussion with Obi, not reconciliation. This is coming from Shoyinka, and you can read the details on page 6. And that's all the news on leadership.
On the Vanguard newspaper, CBN banned foreign banks rep office from banking businesses. You can find on page 19. Prospective bribe, 7 others die in Zamfara boat mischief. You can find also on page 6. Federal government present discharge certificate to Transcorp Power Limited, which you can find on page 34. Reconciliation not discussed during Obe's visit, coming from Shoyinka. Terrorists attack Kaduna church, abduct 40 worshippers. And the big story on presidential election petition hearing, avoid technicalities, delay court, warn parties and lawyers. Sitting start amid tight security. AA withdraws petition against Tinubu and INEC. You can't stand in for Tinubu, court tells Governor Lalong. Adjourn hearing on Obi's petition till tomorrow. Meet the 7 juries that will determine Tinubu, Atiku and Obi's fate in page 32 for those who actually didn't get to see or know them. And on Sudan crisis, 129 more evacuees arrive Abuja. Religious politics will destroy Nigeria, Governor Sule warned. You can find that too on page 13. Labour tackles Fan MD over comment. And we have on the 10th National Assembly, APC zone Senate presidency to the South-South, and Northwest gets the speaker slot, which you can find on page 18. And we have a column for health that said cancer, Nigeria lagging in Racterifa treatment, coming from experts. You can find more on that therapy and know what it's all about. And we also have a column for sport and also an apology from the president on page 70. We still have a picture story showing the Transcorp Power get discharge certificate, and that's all on the Vanguard newspaper.
On Nigerian Tribune, federal government presents certificate of discharge to Transcorp Power Limited. The big story, national presiding officers. We have opposition heightens as APC, NWC adopt Apabio and Abbas. The rider following that, Barrow Northwest gets Deputy Senate President, Kalu Southeast Deputy Speaker. Aggrieved aspirants vow to proceed with aspirations to write NWC. Betara declares for speakership, Wase to declare on Friday. Former senators endorse Apabio. You can find the details on page 28. Awo's 36th memorial anniversary patronal day hold today in Ikene Remo. You can find the details on page 5. Supreme Court delivers judgment on governor petition today. This is on Osun State. You can find the details on page 29. Bandits abduct 40 worshippers during church service in Kaduna. You can find the details on page 6. Why Nigeria should join BRICS. This is coming from Falana. 6 end to dollarized economy. The details can be found on page 8. Presidential election petition court dismisses AA's petition. The writer says why we withdrew our petition, coming from the National Chairman Action Alliance. Court slates today for pre-hearing of Atiku PDP's petition to hear Obi's petition on Wednesday. Avoid technicalities, focus on substance, PEPC tells lawyers. All the details you can find on page 5, and that's all the news on Nigerian Tribune.
On the Punch newspaper, starting with the big story, Tribunal, Tinubu, Atiku, Obi's legal battle commences. PDP, APM petition pre-hearing holds today. Labour Party, Obi case Wednesday. Tribunal one lawyer say those who deserve justice will get it. And let me read a little detail of that story. Sorry, let me try getting the story so we can actually see detail. The legal battle to overturn the election victory of President-elect Bola Tinubu commenced on Monday with the Presidential Election Petition Court promising to deliver justice for those deserving it. The long-awaited hearing proceeding, which was held at the Court of Appeal Abuja, was presided over by Justice Haruna, who gave the assurance that justice will be served dispassionately. Other members of the five-man panel include Justice Stephen Ada of the Court of Appeal, Asaba Division, Justice Misura Bolaji Yusuf, Court of Appeal, also of Asaba Division, Justice Ugo of Kano Division, and Justice Abba Mohammed of Ibadan Division of the Court of Appeal. Addressing the petitioners and lawyers in the Jampa courtroom, the Chief Registrar of the Court of Appeal stated, "We are determined to look at the matter dispassionately and give justice to whoever deserves justice." He said they will consider the substance of each case over technicalities so that whoever lives here will be satisfied that justice has been done. He also warned the parties against unnecessary application that could delay the proceedings. And you can continue to read more detail of that story because we've all been having our fingers crossed on that, and so we just wait to see how it all ends. So let's just remain peaceful. For those who are planning to actually bring in any violence whatsoever, should please remain calm and not start anything. Still on the Punch newspaper, we have on the National Assembly, APC picks Apabio and Abbas, you can find on page 2. And we're looking at high-duty vehicle import crashed by 128%. You can find that story on page 21. Obi's visit not about reconciliation, coming from Shoyinka. And we have Osibanjo present discharge certificate to Transcorp Power. Downside of the paper, Adeleke Oyetola hopeful as Supreme Court delivers judgment today. And we have the story coming again on our paper. Bandits kidnap 40 Kaduna worshippers, 9 Emir's children. Federal government plans rescue of Nigerian domestic workers in Iraq. You can find on page 15. Now, I would like us to talk about this, Rachel. These bandits kidnap 40 Kaduna worshippers and 9 Emir children. I know we've been talking about insecurity, like it's becoming a thing we talk about almost every day here on the show. We've looked at various states that have become a soft spot for bandits. Just yesterday we saw where communities were being scared because we are seeing bandits using some of these routes to transport themselves. We're seeing them coming from Zamfara down to Katsina and all of that, and there's panic, of course. People are bound to be afraid, and right now we're seeing that 40 worshippers were being kidnapped, and then with 9 Emir children. And this is really a sad thing. We keep talking about the fact that yes, insecurity is almost in every part of Nigeria right now, but it seems some particular states have become a soft spot, and you begin to ask what really is the problem. What have these bandits kept in these various states that they have decided to make sure that the people of these various states do not have peace, no matter how hard they try? And I asked, what are the security agencies doing? Of course, we will ask what they are doing. You know, the thing about issues like this, the fact that even if we record that troops have rescued people who have been kidnapped, we keep seeing that we keep asking them to do more. We're just like Oliver Twist, asking them for more. And of course, when we begin to see stories like this coming up every day in the paper, something seems not to be right. We have the issue of Benue, we have the issue of Plateau State, we have the issue of Kaduna, that almost every, I think in every 2 days we have issue. It's becoming like an everyday, and then the people of these various states cannot even sleep with their 2 eyes closed. So I'm really calling on these governors. Yes, we know you have few, because looking at Kaduna, of course he's done, he's leaving. Benue, of course he's done, he's leaving. Plateau State, of course you're done, you're leaving. But then for the next 20 days or so that is left for you, what are you hoping to do? Today is the 9th of May. Of course you have 20 days to live, and then you can still make a very good, you know, will I say, pronouncement that will actually make the people to remember you for. You know, because one thing we keep saying is that it's not about how you started, but how you ended at the end of the day. So I don't know what they are hoping to do, but truly it's becoming a sad story. You begin to ask, how were they able to do such? when, how, what were the plans, all of that, So, in as much as we know that we're talking about this every day, but then we'll keep talking about it until something is done. That is it. We'll keep talking until we see change coming. If we don't see change, we'll keep reminding them. Of course, we are the watchdogs to make them know that they are supposed to do the right thing at the end of the day.
Yes, Hele, a problem is not solved until it ceases to exist completely. So yes, the military are trying well, the police are trying their best, and we have rescued victims that have been kidnapped in the past. But Stella, imagine rescuing 10 victims today and tomorrow 40 are being kidnapped again. So it's like it's like more like 10 steps backward, because we now still have more people in captive, and it's not completely those that have been kidnapped, it's just few out of the hundreds that have been kidnapped that are getting their freedom, and more are being kidnapped. So until a problem completely ceases to exist, then it's still a problem regardless of what is being done. And I think I saw an irony on the paper, and it's specifically on Daily Sun, where we are saying that ECOWAS is applauding our president for effort on regional integration and security, and then right after that story we're seeing kidnapped victims, over 40 in Kaduna, and you wonder what are the measures, what was the standard they used to give him an applaud for security? Because I keep saying it, just because my area is safe doesn't mean Plateau State is safe. As long as there are people still under attack in villages, as long as there are communities that are not safe, Plateau State is not safe. So it doesn't matter if the Federal Capital Territory is safe or okay, doesn't mean that Nigeria is safe. There are so many states under attack, and it's just a matter of time. I see insecurity in Nigeria as a ripple effect, and it's a matter of time before it spreads to everywhere, because there were places that didn't have the issues of bandit attacks some years back. There were places that didn't have the issues of Fulani herdsmen. There were places that didn't have issues of attacks in their community whatsoever, but today are facing that kind of challenge. So it's just a matter of time before this insecurity spread even to places that we never thought they could go to. It's just a matter of time, and if nothing is being done about it, then it's just a period of time before we will know it. Even the communities that thought they were safe will no longer be safe. Even the states that thought they are safe will no longer be safe. So as long as we keep having this problem, I don't think there's a need for applaud yet, because we are still suffering insecurity, and it keeps taking new forms, and it's like they are ahead of our government. And I keep saying, we have the resources to be ahead of these people. Why are they ahead of us? Then it means we are not doing the right thing. So I'm just looking forward to a government that will do the right thing and prove to us that these people can't be better than the Nigerian government.
Of course, so we look forward to all of those measures. Well, that's all on the Punch newspaper.
On New Telegraph, AFCFTA underwriters consolidate hold on $3.4 trillion trade pact as federal government sees paradigm shift, flays low penetration. You can find the details on the front page and continue inside the paper on page 5. Oil prices rise from 3-week slide as recession fears fade. Senate Presidency, Kalu writes APC NWC 108 senators-elect notifies them of his aspiration. And on Oshunguba, Supreme Court decides Adele case fate today. Terrorists invade Kaduna Church, abduct 40 worshippers. Lagos 100 billion naira bond offer opens and closes May 12th. The big story on New Telegraph, Tribunal asks Obi Tinubu to reconcile documentary evidences. The writer says as parties brought heaps of documents adjourns till tomorrow for hearing. To hear Atiku's petition today dismisses AA's petition against President-elect, warns parties against technicalities. Tribunal sat under heavy security presence. The details you can find on page 4. Still on the National Assembly leadership, APC senators-elect oppose imposition by NWC. As party's own Senate presidency, DSP to South-South Northwest for Speaker, Deputy to Northwest and Southeast. Aggrieved reps reject ministerial overture. Bajabia Miller drafts in Wali Tinubu to intervene. You can find more details on page 2 and 4. Federal government military spending top $3 billion in 2022. This is a report. U.S. is highest spender with $877 billion. Buhari has done more to reform Nigeria's military than others leader. This is coming from Shehu, and I'm wondering, with all of this reformation and all of this spending, the terrorists and bandits are still ahead of our military, and it just makes us wonder the more. You can find the details on page 2 and 9. On Sudan crisis, 129 Nigerian evacuees arrive Abuja. 41 Jigawa students arrive Duse. The details you can find on page 5. Lagos pool crisis, Igbo group 6 ethnic profiling. The details you can find on page 11. We have a study that says screen time impacts kids' development negatively. This is a study which we should find interesting, and you should read more on page 26. And that's all the news on New Telegraph.
On the Nation newspaper, with a big story, APC picks Akpabio, Abbas, the Senate President and Speaker. And let me take you down a little detail of that story. The National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress, APC, has zoned the position of the Senate President of the 10th National Assembly to the South-South and the Speaker of the House of Representatives to the Northwest. The ruling party has also agreed on the consensus as the former governor of Akwa Ibom State, Senator Godswin Akpabio, has been anointed as the next Senate President of the 10th Assembly, while Honorable Abbas from Kaduna State has been anointed as the Speaker of the House. The leadership of the party reached a resolution following the meeting of the National Working Committee held at the National Secretariat of the party on Monday in Abuja. Briefing journalists at the end of the meeting, the National Publicity Secretary of the party, Felix Moka, said the National Working Committee reached a compromise on the zoning arrangement for the 10th Assembly. In his word, he said the National Working Committee of the All Progressive Congress met today, which was Monday, yesterday, to consider reports of the consultation and meeting held with the President-elect, His Excellency Bola Ahmed Tinubu, other party leaders and stakeholders on the zoning arrangement for the 10th National Assembly leadership position. So you can do well get the Nation newspaper, read more detail, because of course we saw all the tussle, the fight, the lobbying and all of that, and we can see that finally it was between the Southeast and the South-South, because of course, I remember you and I were saying it would only be fair when we see that every zone is rightly represented. True. Let's not just have just the North or just the South or just the, one particular zone being, actually taking over everything. And so I think the APC felt it wise that it would be right to actually have the South-South, even though we're saying the Southeast are feeling, maybe they will be giving the deputy speaker, and then we can see that the Northwest is actually having the speaker that's talking about the Green Chamber. So I'm really, we're congratulating them. I'm sending my congratulations to them ahead of time. I just hope they know their responsibility, even though we're still having groups kicking against that, other opposition parties also kicking against that. But no matter what the outcome is, I feel it will only be fair that we have every zone. I think that is where my bone of contention is, that every zone have to be represented. Already Nigerians are yet to recover from the Muslim presidency ticket, so it will only be right that other part, talking about leadership of official offices, that other zones are actually given the opportunity. So let us try other zones and see what they also have to offer to the table at a time like that.
Sele doesn't stop at the National Assembly and the House of Representatives alone. We're also looking forward to the ministerial appointments too, because those are also very key positions, and we are looking forward to the president-elect keeping to his promises that everybody will be well represented in ministerial positions. We're looking at women and youths, and we don't have to call men because obviously they'll be the majority. Yes, of course. So we're looking forward to see men and women and youths being represented well as he has promised us. And of course, we're just looking forward, regardless of the opposition. We kept on saying if zoning is out, then there can't be fairness. But now since zoning is being considered, we just hope that truly the right people have been put in place, and then that they will carry out their duties as expected. Because in the end, that's what matters to us as Nigerians, that you in your key position, you will do what is expected of you and take Nigeria to the next level.
Of course, you raise a very vital point, looking at the fact that women, I think yesterday it was on the paper, so when women were talking about they have been pushing for 35%, and then so they are hoping that the president-elect will actually keep to his promise of actually having the women and the youth. Other stories still on the Nation newspaper. I don't know obedience, says Shoyinka. You can read more detail inside the paper. 40 worshippers abducted during church service. And we also have other cross sections of stories here, where we can still see still the vice president during giving the certificate to actually the Transcorp electricity, and we can also see the APC picks Apabio Abbas, the Senate President Speaker, which we just spoke about, and many other stories actually on the front page of the paper. So you can do well to pick the Nation newspaper and read more detail of any story that actually gets your interest.
On the Guardian newspaper, reconciliation not mentioned during Obi's visit. This is Shoyinka clarifying the visit he had with Peter Obi. You can find the details on page 3. Tight security as Supreme Court rules on Adeleke Ayetola's case today, and this has been going on for so long we can wait to hear the final verdict. You can find the details on page 7. Discontent as aspirants minority caucus reject Apabio and Abbas. You can find the details on page 6. Criminality of jungle justice, trial by ordeal and imperative of swift punishment for offenders. Technicalities, time wasting won't be entertained. PEPC warns Atiku Obi, Tinubu's lawyers. You can find the details on page 6. And that's all the news on the Guardian newspaper.
Right before we move further with the newspaper review, we'll take this moment to actually take a time out so we can let you, call in and let us, give you the opportunity to air your views and your thoughts on any story that is of interest to you. Please do not go, and we'll be right back after the break. Welcome back, and thanks for staying tuned. It's still the Dailies on your winning station, and we've been taking you down some of the news that actually reflecting on the front page of the paper. We still have that of the 10th House of Assembly, where we have Apabio being anointed as the Senate President, and so we have Abbas also from the Northwest for the House of Representatives. We also saw in the paper the tribunal, presidential tribunal, that started yesterday and is going down. Today we'll be having that of the PDP hearing, and also tomorrow for Labour Party and the APP. And also we've heard from the papers about 40 worshippers have been abducted from a church in Kaduna State, which is a very sad story. So at this moment, we will open the phone lines. Our numbers are displayed on your screen. You can do well to call us, air your views, please. Let's remember to be very civil when we call with our language, and also to turn down the volume of your TV set when you call us, or you go away, move far away, so we can actually hear you clearly here in the studio. I still have Rachel with me. Thanks,
You're
Richard.
welcome, sir.
All right, let's go on looking at Nigerian News Direct. Invest in maritime sector, NIMA-MC says to Nigerians in diaspora. You can find more on page 13. All right, Mr. Okafo, good morning.
Am I connected?
Yes, you are. Please go on.
Yeah, okay. I just want to make a comment on one or two of the headlines. I am not too pleased with the issue of the choice of principal officers of the National Assembly. This is becoming too much. It's obvious that the Igbos are actually marginalized. During the electioneering choice of candidates, no Igbo man was taken as a candidate of either APC or PDP, which are the major parties. Obi managed to get to Labour and now was able to make impact. Unfortunately, the election turned out the way it is. Again, the composition of the tribunal, of election tribunal now, if you look at the membership, there is no Igbo man there. This is also another area that an Igbo man would feel marginalized. We have 6 geopolitical zones. Why are the membership not drawn from those zones? We have Hausa there, we have Yoruba. There is no Igbo man. An Igbo man is a major contender in this case, in the name of PTOD. So I think Nigeria should decide whether they want Igbos to remain as part of Nigeria, which we want to be, because the marginalization is everywhere. So this is just my contribution. Thank you.
All right, thank you, Mr. Okafo, for that contribution. And actually, he's entitled to his opinion, and because he feels that the Igbos are being marginalized, and looking at the fact that even relating it from the 10th House of Assembly down to even the presidential election. Yeah. Well, our fingers are still crossed, right? The hearing is still in court, so no judgment has been made yet. Yeah. So as it is right now, just call on all our Igbo brothers and sisters. Let's just remain calm. Let's be positive. Let's be optimistic and also trust in the system. I believe that the court will actually do the right thing. They have promised, they have given us their words that the hearing will be fair. So yes, we believe that they will do the right thing. So regardless, yes, of course, I know it will be, people will feel being left out. But at a time like this, yes, we're seeing that, yes, let every zone, I mean, we have said they let every zone be rightly represented. But above all, we need leaders that will be competent. And that's why you make mention of even ministerial appointments. Sure. Let us see how the ministerial appointment is going to go. So we're hoping to see competent leaders. We're hoping to see leaders that we can hold accountable for everything. We're hoping to see leaders that will perform and not just go there and then after 4 years, 8 years, you didn't do anything and then you are coming back to tell us sorry. So I hope that we'll see good leaders. So regardless, I know that everybody has this, have a way to express their grievances, but let's just be positive and hope things turn out well.
Yes, Stella, this is a very sensitive one, and we can leave the presidential poll aside, but I believe that the National Assembly and the House of Representatives can fix this. If Igbos are not well represented in these key positions, then something should be done about it, because Stella, it's only normal if they feel the way they feel and if they voice out their opinion in such a way, because just as you rightly said, we can see that for the presidential election, there was no flag bearer majorly from any of these major party that was Igbo, or even the assistant, wherever there was one, didn't make it to the top anyways. And now we are having the Senate and then the National House of Representatives, and these are places that this could be fixed, but for some reason it's not being done appropriately. So for peace to reign in Nigeria, for us to have growth, for due representation, to really show that we have each and every one of us at heart and we truly want a certain ethnicity, a certain region, and certain people to be represented, then I feel the right thing should be done to them that could take away. This is something that could be corrected and fixed. It's not too late. It's not gone. It's not the presidential election where we have to wait for the tribunal. This is still a process going on for these key positions. The speaker, the president, this is a process still ongoing, so something can be done and corrected about it so that there would be peace in this country, because in the end, where there is chaos, I wonder who you will rule, because we can see war-torn areas is almost like this. It's about survival and not even growth anymore. And we're not looking forward to that type of Nigeria. We want togetherness because we can only grow together.
Of course, of course. Well, let's look at other stories still on Nigerian News Direct. Amid cash crunch, International Bureau suffered 2.3 billion naira loss in the first quarter of 2023. Do we have another call?
Yeah.
Hello, good morning.
My question is about the kidnappers of people in the church in Kaduna State.
Yes, go on. We can hear you.
Yes, what is the government trying to do about it?
Right.
Okay.
Thank you. It is a question we are all asking.
Yes.
What is the government doing about
government doing about
it? Right. Okay, you're still on the line. Hello, go on. Hello. Okay, it seems the call. Okay.
Oh,
Not supposed to do something necessary on it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
All
you so
right,
much
thank you
for
very
that
much.
call. It's a question we all asking, Rachel.
Yes.
What is the government
What-
doing? And I remember I asked the question, but excuse me, sorry. But I hope the government actually know what they're doing. We're trusting them for that. That is their number one responsibility, to protect lives and property. And they will do just that, because we're already holding them accountable. You promised us to do that, so we're hoping that you will do just that.
And it's unfortunate that it's at this point, with the way things are going, it feels like the government is doing nothing. The attack in
All right,
Kaduna, we have a
call. Hello,
caller.
good morning.
I still want to throw more light about it.
Sorry, what's your name?
Yeah.
Where are you calling from?
My surprise is that is Kaduna State government. Hello?
Yeah, what's the name, please?
I am Philemon.
All right, please go on.
Philemon. Asho.
All right, Philemon, go on. I'm with you. Go on.
Okay, calling from Kogi State.
All right.
Now, we have seen cases where Borno State governor lead security operatives to tackle insecurities. Now, I've not seen cases where Kaduna State governor does same. Now, it continues happening consistently in Kaduna State. Is it that the government of Kaduna State has no interest in the security of the people living in Kaduna State? Because to be one speaking twice shy or whatever, I don't know how to put it. But the way it is that this thing kept on happening consistently, and they've not done anything about it. It's so pathetic. In fact, it's becoming questionable. I don't know. It's because in Nigerian government, you don't question people that are in power. You know, I think if there is an authority that can question the people in power, what mechanism have they put in place to tackle insecurity within Kaduna State? I was in Kaduna. I left Kaduna because Kaduna was not safe. And now I'm in Kogi. Now, what have they done? I think they've done nothing. I'm saying this so that the incoming government, the next governor of Kaduna State, should prioritize security. Because I don't see El-Rufai to be so concerned about the security of the people living in Kaduna. So many of our relatives living in Kaduna, having businesses, left their businesses, and they've run down to the state here. And like that, Kaduna has become a dead zone. It is too bad. We are one Nigeria. If they cannot secure the people living in Kaduna State, then why do they fight for the power? Their purpose is not achieved. They are just there for their selfish interest. It is too bad. I feel pain. That's my submission on this matter.
All right. Thank you so much, Philemon, for that for the concern.
Yeah.
Because it's a deep concern, Rachel.
It is, yes, and I just like to add that we should also know that it's not the whole of Kaduna, it's precisely southern Kaduna that are going through this attack. So it's more like, as I was trying to say, is that it's sad, right? Because it looks like the government are not doing anything about southern Kaduna, because it has been going on for too long, and the government is silent about it. The best and the most, and which is so pathetic, is curfew. And that's the most I have heard. The government has said there will be a curfew in southern Kaduna or in the Zongo and Katab region that has been attacked. Nothing more. Nothing more have I heard coming out from the government concerning a drastic measure. And even in the curfew, we've seen instances where these communities have been attacked. So we just have to say it as it is, but it feels and it looks like the government are doing nothing about Southern Kaduna, because if only something little is being done about it, the attacks would have gone down, because this is something that there's no hiding it. If something well is being done about it, there will be evidence that, you know what, the people of Southern Kaduna can say, we've gone a year without attack. We've heard that the military stopped an attack going on in a village. We heard that the military were able to discover a hideout of these herdsmen. These are things that don't hide. If something is being done about it, results will be, yes, we have a
Hello,
caller.
good morning.
I'm talking of this situation of Kaduna.
All right, go on.
Kaduna problem. 40 people are kidnapped inside church. Why these people are doing this? Telling us to vote for them or do this for them. They are not fit of that. Let people share and let everybody go their own path. If Igbo go their own side, Yoruba will go their own side, Hausa will go their own side, then telling us another thing. That's my own talk there. Thank you.
That's not the way to keep Nigeria safe. We cannot go our separate ways. We are one Nigeria, regardless of your tribe, your religion. We are one Nigeria, and that is why we all want to stay together and fight it. How are we going to fight it, Richard? If the houses will just get aggressive, we are going away. The able to see they are going their way. We've been living in peace all this while. So what is the problem?
I mean, Sele, let's tell ourselves the truth. If as a country with all these resources we can't survive, talk more if we break ourselves, it was going to be more difficult. But I think a lot of people are not coming to terms with that if together as one big country we're not able to grow and manage our resources and have the wealth we have, imagine if we break out, it's going to be more difficult, and we are going to see hardship that we've never imagined. So one Nigeria is still the way forward.
Always
no matter how long it takes, Sele, it's still the way forward for growth and becoming a bigger nation.
Of course, so we have to realize that. Well, let's go on with the Nigerian News Direct. Other stories. The big story here says the 10th Assembly Leadership APC National Working Committee unsatisfied with Tinubu zoning formula. See consultation choice of Papabio and others. Southeast Senators kick. You can read more on page 2.
Heart doctor.
All right,
I'm calling
Mr.
from
Obi.
Plateau State.
All right, go on.
It's over the issue of Kaduna South abduction from church.
All right, sir, go on, please.
Hello.
Yes, I'm with you. Go on.
So I want to contribute based on that, because El Rufai, as the governor of Kaduna State, carried the issue of Tinubu on the head as if everything was blasting even the presidency. The lives are being threatened. Christians are being used as a scapegoat, maimed every day. But this man shows no concern. At least the new government shows concern when things are getting wrong. The worst is happening in Kaduna. He never took such dimensions since the creation of Kaduna, and mainly the Southern Kaduna, and mainly the Christians. So why is this man so interested in Tinubu presidency, Muslim ticket, and is not interested in the lives entrusted to him in Kaduna State? What I want to tell you is that let us pray, because something quite not is threatening about this very man, El Rufai. In fact, I don't hate anybody. I love every tribe in Nigeria. I'm from Eastern Nigeria. I live in Plateau peacefully. But what I'm seeing is that what is happening in Kaduna is threatening the life of Christians in particular. And it's showing that this man as governor has no care or concern over these lives. People will go to worship their God. Even if it's Muslims that are kidnapped, I'm not happy. But now, like Christians, every time they will kill, they will slaughter, they will go to the place of worship for goodness sake and kidnap people. That this man, I think he's Nebuchadnezzar. He should remember that there's God, and his pen will be there. One day, He should not belittle Christians because God is watching him. Not issue of carrying Muslim ticket on his head, not caring for the lives that are entrusted to him to take care of. God will not leave El-Rufai and his group for what is happening to Christians. No matter the tribe they are Christians, they are people worshiping God. There are Hausa people, Christians, Igbo people, Christians, Yorubas, Middle Belt people, Christians. So I'm not talking in particular for a particular region. What is happening in National Assembly, their leadership is not my problem. The leadership of Nigeria, Nigeria, they doesn't go anything straightforward. But let them allow people to worship freely their God. If not, when the wrath of God comes in, as is in Turkey, it's only earthquake. God is just spelling something for them. But now in Kaduna, El-Rufai and his group, God will soon come and they will know that there is living God. I bet him he will know there is God. He will not go untouched. There is God. Thank you.
Thank you so much. The emotion is really, you could feel it from his the anger, the pain, And Nigerians actually have the right to express themselves in that manner because, you remember during the cash crunch,
we saw it.
We heard the governor
we saw
of
how
Kaduna
outspoken
of course,
forefront.
You get Richard, and he even spoke about the cabals in the APC.
Exactly,
and we're
he challenged the president.
Of course, a lot is happening. We just truly hope that our leaders will really rise up, wake up to their responsibility. If you have sworn an oath to do that, please just keep to your part of the bargain. Nigerians have trusted leaders with various responsibility, and over the years we've seen them failing, not just in Kaduna, but let's take a look at, if we're going to look at the scorecard of the entire governors, let's look at the 28 governors that are not coming back for second term. You begin to look at each of them and you know that they failed their state in one way or the other, not doing the right thing. So we hope that this will be a wake-up call to those who are coming in. The Nigerians have really realized their power. The power of followership, they now know it. And they are not ready to take anything less than the best this time around. Well, I think that's all in the Nigerian News Direct.
On Blueprint newspaper, Tribunal adjourns Obi's petition to Wednesday, warns on technicalities. Atiku, PDP insists on live broadcast of proceedings. 10th National Assembly leadership, Betara Dogoa Kalu Musa lose out to APC zoning. Opapio, Barrow, Abbas, Ben Kalu get parties not Central lawmakers, Southeast senators elect pro-Yari group protest. Senators elect to decide who leads them. This is coming from Musa. You can find the details on page 6. Man arrested for beating wife to coma in Ondo. Naira scarcity, inflation, reasons for rise in operating costs. This is coming from companies. And on Max airline owners, NCAA condemn media reports and begin probe. Drama as soldiers invade NDLEA office in Jigawa. RMRDC awards secondary school with cash and material items at quiz competition. You can read more of that on page 18, and that's all the news on Blueprint newspaper.
On this day newspaper, APC National Working Committee names a power bill for Senate President Abbas for Speaker. That's the big story on this day newspaper. We have the Rider Party Zones offices settles for consensus. Protesters storm party secretariat, demand zoning of Speaker to the North Central. At induction, senators-elect reject imposition of candidate. Kalu Rights Party senators-elect says he's in race. You can read more of that story on the front page and on page 22. And we have on May 29, Fashola give account of stewardship, says 383,431 jobs created in 6 years, with detail on page 8. And we also have presidential election. Court dismisses AA suit against Tinubu, orders the APP Labour Party to harmonize process with the INEC and APC. Here's here's the APM PDP today. Atiku PDP make case for live broadcast of proceeding. You can read on the front page and on page 32. We have the picture story here on the 10th General Assembly of the African First Ladies Peace Mission. You can do well to grab and see what are the strong women coming up with more stories inside the paper, and that's all in this day newspaper.
On Business Day newspaper, Nigeria's oil sector needed deep reforms. Buhari was hesitant. Presidential Tribunal continues hearing today. Atiku Obi want live coverage. Pantami-backed bill seen as backdoor to telco regulation. Transco Power fulfills privatization obligation, gets discharge certificate. External reserves lose $4.15 billion in 1 year, Naira down 10%. You can turn to page 2 for the details, and that's all the news on Business Day newspaper.
Richard, that's how far we can go the program this morning. Thanks so much for always doing this with me. Thank you to all our beloved callers who call in this morning. Thank you to our supporters, our producer, the crew members. Thank you also to the EPA General, manager. Thank you also to everyone for always being a part of this program and making it a success. Until we come your way again, do have a blessed day ahead.